Ladies and gentlemen, if I can ask everyone to please have a seat, we're about to begin the afternoon's activities. My name is Mike Smolin. I'm Alumni Director at NJIT, and I'm very thrilled to welcome you to the President's Annual Address to Alumni. Thank you all very much for joining us. Just as a quick reminder, the President will be doing his presentation. At the conclusion of the presentation, we do welcome questions, so please don't be afraid to ask questions and to interact. Without further ado, I would like to introduce the President of the Alumni Association of NJIT, Ralph Jimenez, for his opening remarks. Ralph?
All right, folks, good morning and welcome back to NJIT. Yeah, awesome. There's the family I know and love. Guys, my name is Ralph Jimenez. As Mike alluded to, I'm class of 2002, and I am the president of the Alumni Association. So as a volunteer myself, I see quite a few dedicated alumni just around the room that I would like to acknowledge. So I think first and foremost, Robert Cohen, the chairman of the Board of Trustees. Robert, do you want to just... We have Brian Kiernan, chair of the Martin Tuckman School of Management Board of Visitors. Brian? We have Pat Natali, member of the NCE Board of Visitors. Pat, you want to just... And then we have Abir Thakurta from the member of the Martin Tuckman School of Management Board of Visitors. Abir, thank you. And of course, our distinguished president, Dr. Bloom, and the wonderful First Lady, Diane. All right, so for more than a year, the university, our country, our state really has experienced some unprecedented times and challenges. I'm proud to say that our Highlander family has rose to the occasion more than we could have ever dreamed. So NJIT proved something that you and I already knew, which is the university, with its students, faculty, and staff, embody the mission that it created. And it used its education and all the talents and abilities granted therefrom to make the world a better place. And NJIT is not only rising to those challenges, but it's thriving. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And if you look around campus, that must be worth millions. This place is changing quickly, dramatically, and most significantly for the better. It's definitely changed a lot since I've been here 20 years ago. From the campus transformation to the rankings, to academic and school life, our alma mater shines brighter every single day. And so does the value of our degree. So now I would like to invite our distinguished president, Dr. Joel Bloom, to tell us how our alma mater plans on continuing on this amazing trajectory. Dr. Bloom.
Good morning. Thank you. I know they won't mind. So you've met Ralph Jimenez, and let me introduce you to the lovely person sitting to his left. And there's a date they have in mind. It's not my place to give it away. Sherry, would you just... So Ralph talked about growth, and that's our expectation, right? Sorry. So welcome again to a Saturday at NJIT. It's getting a little summery. We again engineered this weather. And let me make some introductions of those who've been at the front of the prayer line Where's Mike Smolin? Mike Smolin? Oh, there he is. So why don't you hold your applause, because if he gets more applause than the next guy, it doesn't work out well for me. So Mike Smolin, as you know, heads up our Office of Alumni Affairs. He's been doing this for several years. And I'm going to talk a little about what this period of time has been here on campus, but just done an outstanding job, including our event here this morning and for the weekend. So thank you, Mr. Smolin. Mr. Smolin, which is why you'll see I was a little concerned about rounds of applause, where he brings you stuff, activities, wine tastings, lots of good stuff. The next guy asks you for stuff. Mostly it's for women, it's a purse. For men, it's their side pockets. So allow me to introduce our Vice President for Development, Ken Alexo. Ken. And Ken probably, he has no staff, right? Mike Smolin has no staff. I'm not going to introduce Ken's staff. This is not a threat. It actually is a threat. Mike Wall, please. Mike, please. Thank you. Thank you. I see Billy. Is that you, Billy? Yes, Billy's next to Mike Wall. Thank you. Beth Kornstein. Beth, please. And we have somebody that we've worked with very closely for well over a decade. And she brings with her her imprimatur of having worked for Bloomberg for 20 plus years, now working on some of our corporate fundraising efforts. Donna Russo. Donna, please. So thank you for that. And no introduction is ever complete without me talking about the person. I got to get this right. This is always a little bit, it just costs me some money occasionally. But 36 years, my lovely and dear wife, Dr. Diane Bloom. Dr. Bloom. So we thank you for coming and joining us this morning. And Ralph, thank you for that introduction. We seem to be a little less in the growth mode these days. And with the consent, always the consent of the trustees, we've probably been taking down more buildings in the past year than we've been putting up, but there are plans to go up. So for those of you who may remember, probably the least remaining attractive corner of this campus. And when I arrived here, as Saul K. Fenster was beginning his boat building program in the early 1990s, we had a lot of less attractive parts of this campus. I'd never been to a college before where you had parking meters on paved parking lots in the middle of the campus. I kept on looking out my office window saying, whose idea is this? You know. So there are no more parking meters. There are very few surface parking lots, thank God. And we do charge, though, hefty to park in our parking decks, however. We have nice parking decks. So Muller's, which was the last truly least attractive corner of this campus, will soon be, for a while, a park. It'll be greened and be a park. And if you wandering by campus or coming to campus, you can have a bench and a coffee and sit out there and just look over Newark a bit. And I know a couple of you took a tour this morning of Newark and very impressed. So glad to hear that. So that's a park. I came to campus first time since Wednesday. Yesterday evening, we had some folks here, and the entire Warren Street School is gone. And that's on that corner, Locke and Warren. And that's a future. It's going to be probably, for those of you who've recently graduated, that's probably going to be our prettiest residence hall. And we're going back to putting kitchens in residence halls, figure that out. And it's be about a 540 plus bed residence hall. So we're still building, but as you'll see on some of the overheads or some of the slides in a moment, there's been a lot of internal work done here on campus. But let me start, and I'll end on this. Without a lot of the folks here in this room, particularly we have some fun together because if you don't laugh, the alternative is not pretty. So Robert Cohen, who chairs our Board of Trustees, what we've been able to do here probably over this past decade, we cannot do without the support and the due diligence and the hard work of our Board of Trustees. And Robert now, just about a year, it'll be a year next month, right? July, skipped the month, July. Has been leading the Board of Trustees. And we're soon going to have next couple more weeks, we'll have a strategic planning session that talks about and continuing to review what we've done here and what does the future look like. And the future, just to go there for a minute or two, this is a university that should probably be sized at around 15,000 students. That's what the good polytechs are. They're about, some of them are a little larger, some of them are about our size. But the right size, I would propose, is that. Because this all is a mathematics equation, right? The number of faculty you need, number of faculty to teach and do research, the number of labs, the number of classrooms. We are this close, so we're at 11,500. We probably need at least one more significant building on this campus, although we have other building lots as well. And we could accommodate. And that's how we maintain some of the rankings. We're an R1 university. I'm kind of upsetting my PowerPoint presentation. So you'll see we're an R1 university. We are in the top of almost every rankings, the top 100, particularly the international ones. And the future for universities like us is having an international footprint. And we are very likely, but not confirmed yet, opening a branch campus in the new capital city, Cairo, Egypt. And if you have any questions, I'll tell you why there. But just for the balance in the audience, we did sign a partnership agreement with Ben Gurion University, which is one of the Israeli research universities. It's actually probably the best cybersecurity computer science capacity in the world. They happen to be down. We visited there. Diane and I visited there in 2018. They're in the Negev Desert, right next to something called the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, and that's why they physically got built there. Anyway, so we are going to continue to grow our university in response to Ralph's invitation, and you will see why we're doing it. And the most important status that we achieved just a little over 2.5 years ago is this R1, high research intense university. There's only, of the 3,000 colleges and universities in our country, there's only 131 of them that are R1s. We happen to be at 131st. We're probably one of the smallest, which also talks about our FTE, or per capita performance. And in New Jersey, we're in pretty good company of the R1s. You may recognize the names of these other schools. One I have to speak nicely about because my wife's an alum. Rutgers University and Princeton. That's where Ken went to school. He shows up every now and then, tells us that frequently. I went to Princeton. I say I went to City College. He finally admitted, I checked his records. That's true. He applied. No, I'm only kidding. All right. To the PowerPoint, please. Oh, I can't. Hello. How am I supposed to see what's on the screen? Where's their laptop? Oh, there it is. I'm going to look at the laptop. Right. Somebody should have put it up here. And there are outstanding people. The vast majority of people who work here are outstanding. But every now and then you show up and, so excuse me. Oh, so, excuse me. I actually came prepared. I'm going to read off of my overheads in the book. All right. So the first picture you are seeing, I can hardly see it, is, and we use this a lot. Some of you have seen this probably at least 10 times if not more. No, that's all right. I'm going to use I'll use this. And the reason we particularly like this picture, are you seeing it? I saw it. How come you can't see it? Oh, I can, no. So they are seeing it now. You're seeing it. We're good. All right. My board chair is harassing me on a Saturday. This is representative of who our student body is. The beautiful diversity of NJIT. We are truly one of the most diverse campuses. We're definitely one of the most diverse polytechs of the 32 polytechs in the country. So we always put this up there. Interesting enough, that's in front of Eberhard Hall. If you came here on the 18th, when we had our final graduation ceremony, you had a lot, the students and families were lining up along Martin Luther King Boulevard to take a picture. You can all see this, right? In front of that. The next overhead, oh, thank you. That's not the next overhead. Yeah, there's the next overhead. So about the academics of the institution. We continue to grow our disciplines, our majors, we grow our colleges, because the demand for our students, the demand for engineers in the state of New Jersey far exceeds the supply. In fact, as we'll see somewhere in some overhead, oh, there it is, the next one, 3 job offers in hand. Even this year, the current year, when at the end of the day of our 11,500 students, about a little more than half came to campus. Most stayed home. They all got access to their labs as is necessary. So we were a little masterful in how we were able to get that done with a very, very, very low incidence of any infection. So the demand in the state of New Jersey, right now, we know that about a third of the engineers and scientists working in New Jersey are alums of NJIT. And if you know something about the economy of New Jersey, that is critically important. So we've continued to grow the enrollment. And as you've heard me say a bit ago, the real place for this university to finish, or at least land, is about 15,000 students. But we couldn't do it without hiring over 150 new faculty over the past 7 years. The total faculty, the total tenure track faculty is just about 320. So if you think about, we hired over 150. We basically swapped out, we didn't add to. We were able to do this as a result of early retirement incentives. We're still going to we keep on forgetting to tell the state we did that, but any day they're going to get the letter, any day. So we've changed out who our faculty here are. That's critically important when we talk about an R1, when we talk about growing the curriculum here. So academics, student success, you the alums, while you are employed, even after employment, continue to be in the highest strata of earnings. I'm not going to dwell on that. Did I say the highest strata of earnings? So when you came here, your family income was probably in the lowest quintiles of family income. 10 years of employment, you were in the upper quintiles of earnings. So I don't think I said yet the highest. So student success. We are at Princeton Review, came out not long ago, very important for us. And we are in the top 50% of their very selective rankings of schools. This past year, you can't make it up. If you hold that, oh, there you go. Mike, did I say nice things about you earlier?
You did say to hold the applause.
So in 1992, a gentleman by the name of Al Dorman came to campus. And Al talked to Sol K. Fencer at the time, and they were both thinking about, and they landed about the same place. Dr. Dorman lived most of his life out on the West Coast. Pat Natal and he are good friends. Pat can validate most things I'm about to say. Don't tell Al everything I said now. And they envisioned the idea of creating something that would elevate the university. At the time, Al was very involved in the University of Southern California and Harvey Mudd University. And he saw what hardworking, high-achieving students can do in changing, if you will, the trajectory of a university. And they landed on something called the Albert Dorman Honors College. I happened to become the founding dean of that. My wife made me take the job originally, as some of you have heard this story. I never wanted, I had been 7 years at another fairly well-known, bigger school in Princeton, Ivy League, and I did not like higher ed. It was tired, it was cumbersome, bureaucratic, moved slowly. So when I got out of there and came to work for the best governor this state ever had, Tom Kean, I was never going to go back to higher ed. And by then, Columbia had fired me anyway because I didn't show up to work. So I didn't take payroll. I didn't. So, but of my job offers, which I thought this was the least attractive at the time in 1990, Diane made me take the job. She conspired with Saul Fenston, and I came here. And I was only supposed to be here for 3 years until I met Al Dorman. And if you've been in this man's web, Charlotte had nothing on this guy, right? You just get captivated. I said, okay, I'll do a couple more years, 30 years later. But what we did develop, I will propose to you, one of the biggest changes in this campus is not, it's a physical building now called the Albert Dorman Honors College, but it's how it changed how people saw this university, how our faculty saw this university, how high schools saw this university. Half of the students in the Honors College today come out of high-tech high schools, which are very special places, and they come very well prepared. So when you look at this list of student success, I'm sorry, I'd introduce Janet Robinson. Janet works in the Honors College, and Janet and some of her colleagues, at this slide, and I'm not the right slide, these are the awards these students now attract. And when you open up all these directories, and there's a big business on college directories, in fact, I'm thinking about going into the business. Anyway, Fulbrights. We didn't have Fulbrights here 3 and 4 years ago. We didn't have Goldwaters 5 and 6 years ago. NSF Graduate Research. Boren, last year I think was the first Boren, if I'm not. So these are highly competitive national prizes that our students win. Highly competitive. Thousands of students from major universities around the country compete for these. So that has continued to change NJIT. We were talking about visibility. That's why NJIT is increasing. We're known because of our students, the jobs they go, how well they perform, the prizes they win, and the faculty that they attract here. Outstanding faculty come to teach good students. And that's what we are increasingly known for. So student success, is Lenny here? Oh, I don't have to tell this story then. But look at the GPA, 24 academic semesters of our student athletes. These are D1 athletes over 3.0. And that picture you're looking at, Lenny made us build that. And you all know Lenny Kaplan, right? You saw him last night, he was here. The WEC Lenny was instrumental in helping us to get this building done. So thank you to Lenny Kaplan. Faculty success, I guess I need to change it, yes. Oh, there's the Albert Dorman Honors College in the background. It's a residential college. If we have time in another decade or two, I'll tell you how we built that building, but not today. Look at what our faculty now have attracted here. Now, we've always had some of these, but nowhere near. And when you get these rankings, how many Fulbrights did you have? They're all over the page. And now we have Fulbrights. Look at the fellowships. IBM Faculty Award, highly competitive. DARPA money. We, 1 year, we had more young, they're called career awards. They come from various federal agencies. I don't have a truth teller here. I think I'm going to get this right. Ken, do you know, was it 7 or 8 in 1 year? Career awards, 7. For some years, most years when I came here, a faculty award, career awards are $500,000 over 5 years. You know how that helps faculty get their work started and hire their PhD students? So faculty awards. We have spent $500 million on the campus transformation, which has been a bit of a labor of love. You have had an opportunity to look at some of our facilities over the past 6 years because of another VP here, Andrew Christ, who happens to be an alum of NJIT, I think 1982, PE, civil engineer. He went off to industry and realized they move more bureaucratically slow. Never mind, I won't go there. Academic facilities. That picture, these 2 pictures actually, if I'm not mistaken, we were talking earlier about the high school. I believe both of these are labs on the 5th floor of the high school building. So the high school, that building was a game changer. The state very nicely wrote us an $86 million check for that high school. So very, very important. I see some people smiling. I didn't forget to make the announcement about that. I'll do that about the Honors College students who are here. Thank you. So more of the academic facilities. Last year we opened to your upper right, the Micro Innovation Fabrication Center. By the way, the Life Sciences Engineering one, which is not in any of these pictures, I don't think, is a key facility for us. That is the only in the state of New Jersey. It is the only in life sciences engineering where we are working on the manufacturing of cell and genes. And I'm not talking about these, and I'm not talking about these. These are life-saving, mostly in cancer treatment. And that's in the life sciences and engineering building. We created something to continue to grow the revenue here called the New Jersey Innovation Institute. They're doing a little over $80 million, and we would not be in R1 if not for NJIT. That went back to 2014. So more of the academic facilities you are looking at, and please go over to the Makerspace. This is the MoshaCom Makerspace. That's another very good story. We ought to sell these stories online, Ken. What do you think? Okay. So it's now almost 20,000 square foot facility. And I think the state gave us about $10 million for that. Very important. When Andrew Chris, we were interviewing, he's probably here a little over 8 or 9 years now. And we took him into Tannin Hall, lecture hall. And he turned to me and he said, that's the same something facility than when he was here. It was dim, it was dark, it was dingy. Some of you, I'm sure, had lovely times in that lecture hall. So this is what he worked on. This and many more lecture halls like this on the campus. We were talking earlier, this fall, are we going to do Big Bear, Ken? We don't know yet? Oh, you're not sure. I promised a bear that we were going to take him and Glenn and his fiance out there, right? So we have to do it, right? But that picture that's now coming up is, oh, Mike told me yes. Wait a minute, remind me of the reporting. No, don't feel bad, Ken. I feel like this every day I work here. People come in and tell me what to do. I don't get this. Anyway, other than Robert. Robert's the only one who's allowed to do it. So that is a picture of Big Bear Solar Observatory on Big Bear Lake. Very, very important facility. We actually own 5 acres of waterfront property on the lake. So if you have a canoe or anything and you want to go up there, let us know. Next, some more of our redone research, $160 million in research. We're going to hit those same numbers, even in the current COVID environment. There's our R1 designation that we talked about. Economic development, very quickly. NJIT has an outsized economic impact, not only in the state, but in the state, it's $2.8 billion. $2.8 billion based on our research, based on our facilities, based on the students who graduate here and then get into the high-paying jobs. I was talking about one of the young women we were talking with, and I'm going to send, actually the trustees may have gotten her bio today. She's got this outstanding job with Merck. And if I counted the digits right, I think it's 6 as her starting salary. A bad starting salary for somebody just going to work at Merck. Venture Link is right across the street. If you get a chance, please go in there. That is, we are increasingly incubating companies. There's 65 of them there. If the board agrees, we'll approve a venture fund I always lobby the board when they're present, because I said it publicly, you can't embarrass me, Robin. So we're going to talk about the venture fund at the board meeting. Thank you, sir. Then that's the WEC, right? This is, we'll skip that. All right, so this is voice. When we talked about, and that's right now the costliest building on campus, the WEC is, the Wellness and Event Center, and it's just that. First couple of years we opened, Amazon came to the campus and said, we would like to run a conference. It's going to be an international conference. And what about using this event center that we've read about? We hosted first year about 5,000 people around the state and around the world. Second year we ran it. Third year, obviously COVID. Second year we ran it was a little over 7,000 people from 11 countries. Caltech, Berkeley, Georgia Tech, Arizona State University, ASU, the big Ohio. I could go down the list, including Columbia and Harvard, MIT, and then about 11 countries had representatives. So they didn't know about NJIT prior to the Amazon conference. And I've told the story ad nauseum. There's a restaurant downtown that occasionally we go to. The gentleman who is the manager of the restaurant is a big gentleman. Go in there about the 2 days after the conference. I was here for 3 days. And this big guy hugged me. He gave me a very big hug. And he said, Dr. Bloom, I can't believe we made more money in 3 nights. He went on to say, I thought they were educators. Aren't they supposed to be cheap? Turns out that most of them, they weren't. Anyway, so this is what we brought to the city. This is what we brought to our campus, economic development, the community. And again, thank you who took the tour. Newark it's not been the fastest city, and it's not interested in a renaissance. Our mayor is outstanding, by the way, Mayor Raz Baraka. He's consumed with making sure that the people in the city don't get displaced, nor do they get left behind. So he has gone out of his way, and we work closely with him, our College of Architecture and Design, our pre-college programs, to make sure we're continuing, and we're going to be taking on a big project pretty soon, helping the Port of Newark get modernized and getting more people from the city employed there. So let me stop at this point. And thank you for listening. And we will take a question or two. But before I forget, Erica Feldman and Richard Acosta, please stand. Come on. So can I announce the following? I already spoiled their wedding. Why don't I spoil yours? They are both alums of what's the college again? I forget. I'm sorry? Oh, well, Wing Yu is secondary, right? Ying Wu, I think. So they are both alums of the Albert Dorman Honors College, and they are getting ready to get married. So thank you. They're outstanding performing students. Eric, here's where Smolin redeems himself. I said, why would somebody just put two names on a piece of paper and tell me nothing about them? So you all want to know about them, right? Sure. Erica's VP Cybersecurity at Citi. I'm assuming that's Citibank? All right, we'll talk to you later. She graduated with a BS and MS in IT in 2010 and is an honors college graduate. Rich is director IT infrastructure. Oh, our Prudential. Where's Dennis? No, that's PSE&G. Where's Ralph? Ralph, I'm sorry. You guys all look alike. Ralph. I do. Dennis is at another outstanding company. Now, if I don't say PSE&G, he's going to go back, tell his boss, Ralph LaRosa, Ralph will be at my house at 7:00 tonight. Okay. He graduated with BSIT in 2011 and an MBA in 2014. So these are exemplars of some of our students here. Thank you for joining us today, and all best. Thank you for sharing that with Jen. So congratulations on all your wins. Thank you. Thank you. We haven't done this in years, but we used to have a Valentine's Day dinner for all the couples that met and married here. We should probably think about it because it's even more now. Well, we have more students. So, any questions I can answer for you or this, and if you don't have any, I don't feel bad because then I sit down to Robin and I see Robin, I told them everything they need to know. Okay, Vera, you're going to make me look bad now, please. So Vera, that's going to take me into another other dialogue. Yeah, I'm sorry. The question is, for those of you who are current, we call it 240 King. It was a Bright Chemical Company owned the building. They gave it to NJIT. We had chem labs in there for years. Later on, it became continuing education, and then that was our first incubator building, actually, business incubators. So under the heading of, and Vera's question is, what's going to happen to that building? We own the building. We own a couple buildings on Martin Luther King. We intentionally wanted to get all the Greek organizations out of there. And as you may know, there's the Honors College, and if you walk back behind the Honors College, there are 5 buildings. There are duplex buildings for 10 Greek organizations. Most of them moved off of what we call Greek Row. That was intentional with the idea of developing that strip along with St. Michael's Hospital and some others. It's been a little rough. And there are some things I decided I don't think I'm going to get done between now and June 30th, 2020. Just as I said that to myself and my wife, the head of the company that's supposed to be developing the facility for us, the building, called me yesterday morning, I think it was, right? Yeah, he called me yesterday morning. He said, we got to get this project done. I felt like hanging up on him because it's taken him 7 years to come to that realization. So we were developing it with a private developer. It may happen. It's supposed to be 99 apartments, some of them affordable rate and some of them market rate. So it's supposed to become an apartment building complex. We'll see. It's critically important that north of Central Avenue, MLK gets developed. I think it'll happen, but we'll see who's going to do it. But good question. Thank you, Vera. Any other questions? Thank you. I knew it was a complete presentation. Vera's question didn't have anything to do with the NJIT campus, Robert. That was ancillary. Thank you. Stay well. Have a great day here. Thank you much.
Another round of applause to Dr. Bloom and the other Dr. Bloom, Diane Bloom. I want to thank you all for attending. Now lunch will be served. The bars are open. Please enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you.